Hello everyone, my name is Sally. Welcome back to Reading Challenge. Today is day 2. The Snowman. I was a struggling ghostwriter and I thought a breakaway from the city to spend time at a remote ski resort could be a good way to clear my head and help me get back on my feet. There wasn't any other cabins around, so I would guarantee a few weeks to reflect and enjoy the isolation. At least that's what the case until the final week of my stay, which made this Christmas truly unforgettable. It first started that night when I suddenly woke up. Initially, I didn't know if it were from something I'd heard or from a bad dream. But either way, I felt compelled to look out the window. That's when I noticed the snowman in the distance. Back when I was a kid, I could have been delighted at the mere sight of a snowman. But that sense of childhood nostalgia was soon silenced by the realization that I wasn't alone out there in the woods. The cabin where I was staying was the only one on this side of the valley, so it seemed like a long way to walk just to build a snowman. Despite the uncanny feeling, I was still far too tired to give it much thought and managed to sleep through the rest of the night. The following morning, to no surprise, the snowman was still there. I couldn't quite put my finger on it right then, but I got the strange notion that something was different about it. I decided to carry on with my day, and I didn't think much of it. I decided to carry on with my day and didn't think much of it until later that night when it happened again. I woke up suddenly for no apparent reason. I don't remember having a bad dream, but I guess it's common not to remember our dreams, even the really bad ones. I feel like deja vu, and I found myself once again gazing through the bedroom window. I could still see the snowman even clearer now. I couldn't quite figure out why, but it gave me an off sensation. I also started to wonder why the snowmen were facing towards the cabin and why anyone could build a snowman on the way out here. There weren't any other cabins around for miles. I didn't sleep much after that, so the next morning I decided to head outside the cabin for a closer look. I looked around. I looked around, but just as I expected, there was no trace of anyone. On the east, it's hard to be sure, considering how poor the visibility was due to the weather. I chose to knock the snowman down just for good measure. We're already beginning to feel like some kind of bad omen. Maybe I were overreacting. Maybe it was just some kids fooling around. But at least I didn't have to think about it anymore, or so do I thought. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.